Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Mohammad Zarin Haris and I'll be your moderator for this session. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today for the premiere of our visual fashion show, where we will be showcasing the collection of the final year fashion degree students session March-August 2021. For your information, this semester, due to the pandemic, classes are 100% held online, where consultations are made through digital means. Alas, both parties pulled through and all 51 students successfully created their collection. My name is Mohammad Zarin Haris and I'll be your moderator for this session. Inspired, thank you for joining by folklore, each student is required to imbue details into their collection, challenging their creativity by narrating a story through their fashion pieces. Now, without further ado, let us watch the visual fashion show. 100% Fellow attendees, thank you for your support and watching the premiere of our virtual fashion show. Now that the show is over, what's next? The current retail trend has shifted from traditionally buying from shops to online means. E-commerce have paved the way, making it easier for everyone to buy almost anything online. But in the fashion industry, what are the available options that you have? Here to give you some insights, we have invited several speakers, our alumni, to share their experience and knowledge in their journey. Our first panelist is Ms. Nina Aziz, the Senior Fashion Designer for Lubna, Mr. Hadi Aizat, the Product Developer for Lubna, both under Zalora Group, and finally Naseka Azara, in charge of Service Design for Petronas. Without further delay, please welcome our first speaker, Ms. Nina Aziz.
Hi, hello, good morning.
Morning.
Hi, okay, so I'm just gonna introduce myself. Hi, my name is Nina Aziz. I'm a designer and a mother. I am currently working as a senior fashion designer at Zalora for the modest wear regional private labels, which is under the private label we have Lubna, Zalia, and so on. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about. I'm gonna share my screen as well. Give me a minute. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna share a little bit about my background. Okay, so in the early beginnings, when I was a child, I really loved putting things together and making my own tiny collection of outfits for my Barbie dolls. Because I thought the clothes that it came with was so boring for me, and I felt the most fun when I am able to create and design something new. So naturally, as I grew up, I knew my love for fashion and designing. Even in high school, I took art as an extra subject and went to extra classes to learn how to paint, how to draw. And due to my perseverance, all the hard work that paid off, when at my high school graduation, I was awarded with the best student in arts and trading subject, which is perdagangan, seni and perdagangan. And then later on, I furthered my studies in diploma in art and design in UiTM Campus Sri Iskandar, where my love for fashion grew. So after completing my diploma, I decided to, let me click this. Sure. Okay, so after I finished my diploma, I decided to continue and take a bachelor's degree in art and design, and also a minor in textile design in UiTM Shah Alam. So this is where I learned how to sharpen my design skills and perfected my personal style and aesthetic. So I proceeded to represent as one of the top 20 chosen for the Gala Fashion Show by the university and won the Silver Award in the Degree Fashion Show. Okay. Okay. Next is I'm just going to share a little bit on my career journey. Okay. So after I finished my degree, straight away went to interview for a stylist position in Media Prima at the time. So so my first job that I get in was as a stylist in Media Prima. So there, it was a short while, but over there, I learned about how to manage contacts, networking, how networking with brands, loaning products, and negotiating the terms and all that. So also, I learned how to be more persuasive and all that. So and next, so I started. This was 9 years ago, 2012 to 2013, and then after that, I first tapped into Zalora and took a job as a fashion buyer slash designer as well. So this is where I learned valuable learnings from working with manufacturers, sourcing, pricing strategies, handling OTBs, handling budgets, designing, and many more. So it's just not just designing, but there's also a lot of process of buying as well. So at that time I was the one man show. I was the only person. I was the person that's handling the brand. So I was handling from A to Z, from purchasing, from designing, from concepts, from shoots and everything. So this is really fun because I get to do a lot of different things every day. So it's very stimulating work. This is where I learned the most. So after that, this is just some of the. So this was the first collection for Lubna. So prior to that, 2014, there was no Lubna brand. So it was a different brand back then. It was called Ethnic Chic. So it was a different brand. So when I came in, So me and my team, we all decided to revamp the brand. So we changed the whole branding. So that's where I learned to learn about branding as well. So created the brand from the logo, from the brand aesthetics, and all that. So this was the first Raya collection for Lubna and the first runway show. And so on. And then this was in 2017 and 18. Okay, so I'm just going to share a bit more. So as I first stepped into Zalora, I took a job as the fashion buyer where I learned all those valuable things. So I was designing and also doing buying. So as the modest wear team grew bigger, I was offered a role as a fashion designer. So okay, sorry. So what I want to say here is that there's a quote for you guys. So a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes is better than a master of one. So what I'm trying to say here is that you don't just focus on just one skill, but be open to learn other skill as well. So at the time when I was first entering Zalora as a fashion buyer, I was learning a lot of new things that I did not know how to do it, like buying and all that, purchasing. So I open up and I just go with the flow and learn as much as I can, because there are times where I feel like I want to give up because there was too much things that I was handling. But what I thought was, if it wasn't for all those experience that I learned back then, I wouldn't be where I am today. Knowing all the processes and all that, it really helps to build your career. And then moving on to fashion designer, still in Zalora as well, from 2018 to 2021. So the Lubna brand made its debut back in 2016, as I said just now. So after that, so this was in 2019, the collection. So this is the first year that we launched the curve line for plus size women. And this is 2020. So this is where, so if you can see on the left side is Azalia, and on the right side is Lubna. So this was the first year where I got involved in handling two brands. So it's really challenging, but like I said again, I learned a lot on how to manage two different aesthetic. So one is the other on one side is a brand that is more elegant and classy and more mature, and on the other side is Lubna, which is a brand that is more youthful, fun, and vibrant. So it was fun and it's really challenging, but I learned a lot here as well. And next, here are some of this is a 2021 campaign. Okay, so I'm just going to straight jump into the design process. So for designing, it's not just design, but you also need to have a structure and a framework to make everything go smoothly. So in my work, what I do, so we have a four phase of our work, which is the first phase is trend and market research. The second phase is mood board and trend presentations. Third phase is design and sampling. And the fourth phase is product information and catalog shoots or campaign shoots. So this is how we would plan ahead. So how we would do is we plan backwards. So you need to know backwards, meaning you need to know when is the product launch that you want to do. So from there, you can plan backwards. So you know when is the product launch, and then you need to know. So let's say if you want to plan it in August, so you need to have the product information and the catalog shoot all done like a month before. And also the follow-ups, we have follow-ups with factory and production. So we also liaise with suppliers as well. And also there's proto approvals and confirmations. and then status and tracking. So because as Zalora, we are handling 200 to 300 styles per season. So we need a system. So we create like a system on tracking. So we can't remember everything, right? So you need to have a tracker for you to track every single thing. So all the information is in there. So what we use is you can use Excel and all that. So phase 2, there's the design and sampling, and then mood board and translation. And the first one, it would be trend and market research. Okay. So before that, before you're starting any research or anything, you need to understand the brand first. So before you can do anything, you really need to dig in onto what is your brand is all about. So you need to know what's the brand DNA, what's the mood, what's the vibe, what's the voice. If the brand could speak, what would it sound like? Would it be would the brand talk fast and in high pitch, or would it be a brand that talk slow and calmly? So you need to decide that as well, and then you need to know what are the color groups and color tones that are suitable for your brand, and also the aesthetic. Like, is it classy, or is it edgy, is it soft, is it bold? So you need to decide early on what is your brand all about. So as you can see here, we managed to differentiate two brands, which is Zalia and Lugna. So one brand is, well, like what I said just now, is more classy, more mature, and the tone is very bit gloomy and all that. And on the other hand, is a brand that is more fun, vibrant, and youthful, so that we could cater to all of the market in the market. So it's not just targeting on just one aesthetic. So because there's a lot of aesthetic in the market, so you need to know like which one would you want to target to. And then next, this is how we do start off with the trend and market research. So we would look at runways. We would look at also forecasts. So in Zalora, what we did was we subscribed to, if you heard, WGSN. So that is where we took all the forecast details, like what is going to be the next big trend. So there's macro trends, there's micro trends. So you need to know that. So from that, those are international trends. So for me, what I did was I took all the international trends and translated into a more relatable to the local market. So we need to filter out what is relatable for the local market and what is not. So whatever detailings that is not suitable for our market, we would not include it in our mood board and all that. So you need to know the trend concept, color, print, textile, accessories. So we look at all these forecasts: color, print, textile, and accessories. So and also before we start the collection, we would see what is the next key items, meaning key silhouette. What is the key products that we need in the collection? And also we look at what are the key detailing. So that every season there's also a key detail that is going to be in trend for that season. So you need to know what key detailings that is going to be used throughout the whole collection. So for example, as you can see here, the trend was knotted bows and there's ribbons and the tall print and all that. So you need to know what trends. You need to pick what trends and what details that is suitable for your brand DNA, not just taking any trends, but also you need to think about what is suitable for the brand specifications. Okay, and then next is we move on to creating mood boards. So here is some example of what we did. So we need to create a deck of trend concept, theme for each season, autumn, winter. So in Zalora, we have autumn, winter, and spring, summer. So autumn, winter starts in July onwards, and June backwards is spring, summer. So we need to decide what is the core colors and what is the secondary colors. So the core color would be for the core items. So for seasonal trends, we would use a secondary colors. So we need to identify that as well. And also how we segregate is we have a direction and a destination in our collection. So what I meant by that is direction means you need to know. So in Zalora, we have three directions, which is essentials, commercial, and directional. So what it means is essential means a a basic styles, basic items, but it's throughout the whole year you're gonna have it. It's essential to your brand, and the price point is lower. So commercial, it means that something that is slightly trendier than the essential, but still in a mid-range price points. And third is the directionals. Directional means things that are super trendy, and it's something that maybe we want to try a new trend for the next collection. So we would put a little bit of directional items to see how the market receive. So if the response was good, so we're gonna move forward and push it more in the next collection. So that's how we do it. And then destination. So you need to know every time you have a collection, you need to know what is the direction first, and then second is the destination. So, okay, when you know what is the direction, right? You know you want to create whether it's essential, commercial, or directional. Then you need to know what is the destination. So destination means occasion, meaning that for us it will be like, is it casual? Is it occasion wear? Is it lounge wear? So you need to know where is this person going. So that's why they call it destination. So where is this person going, and where are they wearing with this collection? So are they at home? Are they going out? Are they having parties? So right now we all more focus on homeware, like loungewear, because people are mostly at home. So this is where you have to know what is going on around you, and you need to know what you need to create in order to match the demand of the market. So after that, so we have 6 to 8 collections per season. Means that in 6 months we have 6 to 8 collections. It could be a collection per month. So one collection could be 20 to 30 styles. 20 to 30 style, and then you can multiply it by color selection. So in Zalora, we call it SKUs, meaning that if you have 20 styles and you have 3 color selections for each styles, it means you have 60 SKUs. So after we prepared the mood board, we also prepared the fabric and trimming stack. So we do this before the MCO. We do this so that when we go out for sourcing, we would have a deck of files of what fabric we are looking for, so we won't get lost. So we have exact direction of what fabric we want, what type of trimmings that we want to look for the collection. So we have all that in hand before we go sourcing. And next, we have the seasonal presentation, where designer have to present to the team for a kickoff of the season. So as you can see here, this was before lockdown. We had a presentation in the Zalora office in Singapore. So there we bring the Raya collections to show and to present to the team there. So and then this is in our office in Malaysia. So this was before the lockdown. So this is just like, so we have presentation within our team. So we have to present to the team, to the buyers, and also to the category managers. So we just pitch our ideas, and we're sharing the trend reports, the fabric reports. We share trend concept and pitch the themes that we want to do for each collection. So each collection per season, there would be especially for Raya. So Raya season, we would have 200 to 300 styles that we have to prepare. So this is very crucial time for us. So we always make sure that we plan early on. So we would usually plan 1 year ahead for Raya, so that we could achieve the deadline that we want. So here we prepare the fabric and trimmings deck that I said just now for sourcing. So since since lockdown, we couldn't outsource our fabrics. We couldn't go and source the fabrics in other countries. So what we do is the fabric trimmings deck that we prepared, we send it out to all of our suppliers. We send it to them, and so we ask for their help to source it for us. So based on what we ask them to source, they would source it for us. And what we did was, because we couldn't fly over there, so what we did was they sent out to us boxes and boxes of fabric. So we couldn't go there, but the fabric came to us. So after it came, we have to sort it out, boxes of fabrics. Like, we were so overwhelmed, but it was one way that we tried to overcome the challenge at that time. And then after that, we also, so before we kicked off with the presentations, buyer will have a round of presentation as well. So before we kick off new collection, buyer will present on, we will do like a post-mortem of a review of the post-season performance. So we would discuss like what worked well for the last collection, what did not work well, so that we know we're not just creating just because we like it, but we need to have data to back it up. So what we did was we look at the best sellers, the worst sellers, what we should stop doing and what we should continue doing. So that is important as well. You need to know, you need to have a report so you can see what is doing well and what's not doing well, and you need to understand like why is it doing well, not just looking, okay, it's doing well, but you need to understand why. Is it the color? Is it the design? Is it because of the fabric? So we need to have that discussion as well. Okay. And after that, after we have all these presentations, a buyer will share with designers the range plan. So range plan is determined by the buyer and the planner. So based on the OTB, so they would share with us numbers as well. So we're not just designing, we also have to articulate numbers, so that in order to understand that, so we know that how many styles we need, how many SKUs we need, how many color selection do we need, so what is the subcats, example, like how many tops, how many bottoms, how many sets, how many dresses, and all that. So, and also there's also numbers of style based on the destinations, based on price bands, based on target cost. So you're not just designing, but when you're designing, you have to think of what is the destination, what is the price bands, what is the target cost for that style. So you need to figure out, okay, in order for you to design this with this cost, what can you do with that? So you need to always be aware of that so that you don't get lost track or anything. Okay. And next, we have the material sourcing that I mentioned just now. So what we would source is usually, so this is how this was before when we could travel. And now, because of the lockdown, the whole of our office has become a sea of fabrics. So since everyone else couldn't, they can work from home. So for us, we use this space that anyone else not using. So we spread out all our fabrics there so that we can filter out which one that we want, which one we don't want, and which one we want to keep and all that. So what we look for in sourcing is fabrics, trimmings, like laces, trimmings, or any trimmings to accentuate your design. And also hardwares like buckles or what kind of buckles you want and all that. And then buttons, fastening, and embellishment. So we would source all this before we kicked off our collection. And next up is the designing part. So for here we have, before we start designing, we would create a deck of style segregation. So based on the range plan that buyer provided us before, so with all those numbers, we create a deck of, okay, based on this destinations, these numbers of styles, what type of design you want to do. So before we even create the design, before we sketch and all that, we would have a deck of images of like what would it kind of look like, so that buyers and our category manager and all the stakeholders can see what we want to do. So before we sketch, we would insert like images of what styles that it would look like. So it's like an inspiration deck. So after it get approved, then we will proceed to sketch and design. So we do sketch by hand, or we could do sketch by on AI and whatnot. And after that, after the sketch phase, we would again present it with the category manager and buyer. So we work closely with buyers. So buyer will give their comments. So everybody will give their comments. Is this going to work? Is this not going to work? So whatever it doesn't work, we're going to re-sketch or redo. So, and then after that, if all the sketches is approved, we will proceed to the next step, which is the technical packs. So we have the tech packs that we provide information like the sketches, the measurements, what are the detailings that you want to put in, what are the embellishment that you want, and all the details of one style is be inserted into one tech pack. So if you have 200 style, you have to create 200 tech packs. So usually we, for Raya, we create all that just within 4 weeks. Hundreds of styles within just 4 to 5 weeks. So it's really crunch time, but we really have to make it work. So we need to be systematic in how to manage when you need to manage all the styles. You're not just managing 4 styles, but you're managing hundreds and hundreds of styles. So at the same time, I also have to monitor 2 brands. So we double that up. So, okay, and then we have, after that, we have fabric and color selection. And also, we're not just selecting fabric and color, we also select suppliers. So we have multiple suppliers working with us. So before that, buyer, they will provide a supplier allocation. So they would say, okay, this supplier have this percentage of capacity. So you need to use this percentage to send it out. So meaning 20% of your collection needs to be sent to supplier A. So 30% of this collection need to be sent to supplier B. So we need to be fair to all our suppliers so that we maintain a good relationship with the suppliers. So it's very important. So you need to be fair with all the suppliers. So designer decide which supplier you want to send it to, because when you work with the suppliers for a long time, you would know which kind of design, which kind of technical is their specialty. So product developer will also advise us on which supplier is good for this kind of design, this kind of fabrics. So each factory will have their specialty. So you need to know, other than just designing, thinking of the numbers and all that, you also need to know which is the right supplier to send it to. Because if you send it to the wrong supplier, then you're going to have double and triple work because you need to redo and redo and redo. So it's really important. So other than that, next, we have another round of, after we select all that, we have another round of discussion and approval of designs of the whole color, fabric, and all that. So after we send out all the tag packs, we email all those hundreds of tag packs to the suppliers. We would, after that, follow up with them. So we would give them a call, a video call, because before this, we could fly over there and just straight away, PD will just straight away make any changes or anything. But because we can't, so we have to liaise with them. So all these suppliers, all those hundreds of styles, we need to check on them, like, how is it going? Is it going well? Are you stuck, or is there any issue? So usually the challenges is during in this phase was sometimes supplier don't understand, and sometimes there's a communication breakdown. So you really need to sit down and talk to them and have a virtual call with them. Okay, this is actually what you really want. And then sometimes the fabric is out of stock, so you have to update your selections. So there's a lot of challenges. And then after that, after liaising with suppliers, designer will have to track the proto sample status. So we need to not just after that, we will have a constant tracking on the status of the sample. So first sample is designer responsibility. So we need to know like whether they have done it, whether they have sent it out, but we need to give them the deadline. So whether they have sent it out within the timeline that we give. Move on to the next step. Okay, so prototype fitting. So designer, buyer, and product developer need to participate in the prototype fitting. So everybody needs to be in the discussion. So this process will be explained furthermore by Hadi later. But I'm just going to say from designer part what we do during this step. So what we do is proto approval and confirmation. So designer will give design comments. So let's say the design line is not correct, or the ruffles is not enough, or the length is not correct, or something like, based on design only, design aesthetic. The technicals will be checked by PD, product developer. So our designer will take note on the design changes. So we need to take note also, so we need to confirm the fabric and color. We need to update the fabric and color to supplier if there's any changes as well. So we need to follow up again with suppliers after this step. And then after we have follow up and all that, so after everything has been confirmed, supplier will send to us to the designer to approve a bulk fabric sample sheets. So we will receive like papers of fabric sheets of what we picked. So if we have 200 styles, then we will have 200 fabric approval as well to approve. So designer will approve one by one, and we need to cross-check with the fabric that they sent. We need to cross-check with the style that we sent out. Is it the same? Is it the same color? Is it the correct fabric? So we need to make sure everything is correct. And then if it's not correct, then we have to update again to supplier to make changes. And after that, after approving all, we email back to the supplier, we have approved all those fabric samples. So a designer is the one that will provide product information. Example, style number. So we need to know what is the style code. We have to create the style codes. Designer will give the product name. So if we have 200 styles, we have to insert 200 of those product names. So the names have to be a description of the style. So if it's as you can see in this, if it's a tiered ruffle or anything, you have to describe it correctly in the name, because this information is going to come up in the website. So also you need to provide information like what is the subcats and also what is the factory that we're choosing. And then the next step is catalog and campaign shoot. So designer is also responsible for these. So before there's a catalog shoot, we need to provide the styling deck. So we're not just designing and all that, but we also have to know what kind of styling do we want for that collection. So we will have to prepare all this for each and every collection based on the brand DNA and based on what's the brand aesthetic as well. So what we will provide in this styling deck is hair, makeup, accessories, what kind of accessories that will be worn by the model, what type of shoes that we want, what kind of pairings of the clothing, what kind of pairings that we want. So for this step, because before we could go to the studio and all that to monitor, so designer need to monitor the catalog shoot as well. So, but right now because of the pandemic, we couldn't go. So what we do is we provide a more detailed deck. So we prepared all the styling, and also we prepared how is this top is going to be matched with the bottom. So all is in the deck. So this top will be matched with this bottom will be matched with this and all that. So everything has to be matched, will be prepared so that the stylist at the shoot can have a reference to look at. And after that, okay, that's all. And then campaign shoot, designer is also responsible to have editorial discussions with the marketing team. So we have a creative team that does all the editorials. So initial ideas have to come from designer as well, because they need to create editorials that are that are linked to our collection. So linked to what is the theme of our collection. So we need to have a constant discussion with marketing team as well. And next, not only we have to do design, styling and all that, and also as a designer, we have to represent the brand at times. So in my experience, I get the chance to represent our team at in EBC, and we had some podcasts with Zalora Talk, some Boost app advertisement, and also interviews and all that. So here I learned a lot about how to articulate what my experience, and so I need to step up my talking skills and all that. So this is where I learned a lot as well. So thank you. And that's all that I have to present today. So what I talked about was the process of my background and the process of design in e-commerce industry. So let me know if you guys have any questions.
All right, thank you, Nina Aziz. That was very insightful. Okay, we have a question here from TS Dr. Rohana. Can you advise to the new juniors what can they prepare themselves to join this new world? What are the challenges, risks, opportunities, and more?
Oh, good question. Okay, so now the industry is really challenging. The market is really competitive. So you need to know what are the skills that are not average. So you need to put in basically your resume has to be the right skills that the job wanted. So always try to add more skill. So example, what I can give, example. Okay, let me share with you the skills that I think is important. So you need to have a strategic design planning skill, project management skill. You need to have presentation skills, Excel and all that, and PowerPoint. You need to have that skill as well. So you need to be able to need to have leadership skill as well. It's not just for people who are at a higher level, but everyone needs to have leadership skill. So that is something that has been a key skill that has been talked about in the industry. And you need to be persistent and work well under pressure, because the pressure is real and it's not the same as how you are when you're in university. So the pressure is real, because if you messed up, you are going to mess the whole budget of the company. So the budget is not small, it's a lot. So you have to be really careful in what you do. It's not because when you're studying, when you're a student, your actions is just going to affect you. It's just going to affect your result.
It's going to affect everyone in the company.
Yes, but when it's at work, it's going to affect everybody. So what you do matters the most. So especially designer, whatever we do is most important, because it is the first information that we got. So we have to create the first correct information for the rest of our team. So if we messed up, everybody gonna have a hard time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
One more last question. What is the dynamics that has changed from doing things working from home and what you have done before, right?
Okay.
How do you adjust to the pandemic, actually?
Yeah, so, okay. So maybe I can show you. Okay. So, let me just show you a clip of the season that happened during the pandemic.
All right.
Okay. So this was okay, you guys can see it. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And you're good.
Okay. So this was when we shoot this, it was right before the pandemic happened. So in January. So the pandemic happened in March, right?
Yep.
Just show you. So So what I want to share is that, okay, can
He's
you
still
still
playing
see
in the
the screen?
background.
Hello?
All right, okay, we can hear you.
Okay, which screen are you looking at?
This is actually we are not seeing anything at all
Oh,
right now.
okay, sorry. Okay.
Okay,
So,
maybe you
okay,
can
never
just
mind.
okay,
You
all
guys
right,
can look it up, Lubna 2020 collection.
all
So,
right.
what happened was we shoot the collection
January,
in January, right? So, the panic happened, the whole lockdown happened in March. So, this was the biggest budget that we invest on for a campaign. It was the biggest. And then suddenly the pandemic happened. We could not use this marketing asset. The reason was because we had a instruction from the higher management that we could not release this campaign. So
because
we were
everyone is together,
because during pandemic we cannot show any image of people going out. People are having meeting
get
out or anything
together,
like that, having
gathering,
occasion, having parties or anything like that. So the frustration was really huge. So we had all this done, all our hard work have been put on to this campaign.
right?
And the budget was the biggest, like I said. So there was a lot of models in that involved. So what we did was, I would say, when we get the instruction, so we couldn't say anything because that is what the company wants, right? So we have to follow that. So what we did was, so all this, so we don't have the challenges was we don't have any marketing asset to push. So what are we as a team? What are we going to do? So we had a discussion, and you know what? This is not going to stop us. Let's just do whatever we can. So at that time, we were all at home. So we already have to, because we already launched our product in March, and that's when the lockdown happened. So we're like, okay, we can't go out for a small to redo our shoot, right? We can't go out. So what we did was we brainstormed and all that. You know what? Because we are at home, so we had to stop everything that we were doing because the company they don't know what's going to happen. So we at that time we were supposed to design for autumn winter collection. So at that time we had to stop everything because this whole pandemic thing was a bit risky, right? So what we did was, okay, we had a meeting. So we were involved in social media. So that's our only way to create awareness and to promote. So we, the buyer, the designer, PD, everyone in the team
Had to step up the game.
yeah, we had to. So what we did was we did like we did lives. So I'm just as a designer, I had to manage social media calendar suddenly all of a sudden. So it's like you just have to just jump into it. So I had to plan, okay, what kind of content we want to do, like what kind of content. So we just like do whatever we can think of because we don't have much time. We just need to do it. So we created like series of IGTVs where people are wearing our clothes and making baking or cooking or anything like that. So we shared it on our social media, and we also become a content as well. So we had to suddenly become an influencer and wear all the clothes and do some TikToks and all that. Everybody participates. So we need to do something at a time. We can't just think like, oh, this is not my job. This is not in my job scope or anything. But at that time, all we were thinking about is our goal. Our goal is to make sure that all these are being sold in the market. So we need to make sure that people know that we have this. So we just do everything and anything that we can yang kita orang boleh buat at that time. So we just do it. So Alhamdulillah, the sale was tremendously well compared, because we know that some other brands are struggling and all that. And we were surprised with all our effort, all our hard work really paid off. Besides that, we couldn't use our marketing assets. So we just did whatever we can to promote it. So we did lives, we did IG takeovers, and all that.
Okay, that's a very good insight because right now social media presence is everything and it is the best marketing tools. Okay,
Agree.
thank you, Miss Nina. Next, can we have Mr. Hadi Aizat to present on his knowledge on product development?
Hello, hello,
Hello, can hear you?
hello. Hi. Can you hear me, right?
Yes, yes, continue.
Okay. Hi Nina. Hi everyone. So first
Hi,
and foremost,
Adi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. I would like to say thank you to UiTM, to Fasto, to dear lecturers, Sir Zarin, and to all viewers here. So I hope that today's session from us, from the e-commerce background or the apa uh, future apa new future in fashion e-business, right? So I hope this session will actually give you a lot of info and inputs, because I think we believe, Nina, later Zara, and I believe that this knowledge has to be shared among the students, because we were in UiTM as well. We have like sometimes like ada I'm going to speak rojak lah, so tak apa kan.
Okay, it's okay.
Rojak language is fine, right? So because last time when we studied, kita like more spend most of our time on practical works, like designing, illustration, and sewing and stuff, right? But we didn't get to learn more on the other side of fashion industry, which is like you have the fashion marketing, you have the fashion retail, you have the e-commerce and stuff like that. Okay, so let me share my screen. And please, if you have any question, let's make this session as casual as you can. But I'm very awkward if everyone is too formal. So if you have any question, just say it down there, in between or after. Okay. So like share screen. Okay, present a window. Okay, dah practice tadi. Okay, so can you guys see my screen? Okay, I should full screen, right?
Yep, you can see it now. Very clear.
Okay, so we start off. All right, so we start off with AD Fashion Week, with the topic new fashion, new future in fashion business. Okay, so here I am represent Zalora as the product developer, regional private label. As Nina mentioned just now, regional private label is the Zalora in-house brands. So we actually handle and manage a few brands like Zalia, Lubna, in under the models category. Okay, so next, just give me a little bit time to introduce myself. So my name is Hadi Aizat. Back in the days, people call me Day in UiTM. I came from Sumanjaya. My hobbies are travel, cafe hopping, digital illustration, art, and music. So, um, I was one of the alumni in fashion, UiTM fashion graduate, back in 2012. So, I think like I've been through the same, everyone is going through right now, buat design, buat sketches, buat research, you punya tual kena reject, you punya first design, scratch, tak cantik semua kan. So I've been there, but it's okay. My advice is that you need to learn. You need to try, and fix whatever that you need to fix. Sebab apa? Because when you go out there, well, it's gonna be like really, really harder than you expect. Okay, so when I was in fashion school, I'm sorry, in UiTM, I also mentioned I've always have these thoughts. Like is this like what am I gonna do? Am I gonna be a designer? Am I gonna be a fashion illustrator? But I only see these two at that time tau. Sebab I tak tahu lagi dunia luar macam mana. But then it's actually, you have a lot of other opportunities as the fashion education background, which terus I fikir, okay, should I start my own business after I graduate? So I decided no, because you know why? Because for me, I think you need to have or to gain experience dulu. You need to go out there to work with other companies, other brands, get the information, learnings and knowledge dulu. So right after I graduate, I terus masuk fashion retail, which I worked in Uniqlo, Sawi Pyramid, because that time Uniqlo tengah grow in Malaysia. Uniqlo Sawi Pyramid was the sixth store open in Malaysia. I decided to join fashion retail sebab I get the interest. I started to get the interest in fashion retail sebab I dah macam, okay, I spend most of the time buat design, sketching and menjahit semua. So why not like give it a try, give it a try and do something new. But then back then when you work in Uniqlo, fashion retail, I was like the retail associate. started from the zero, the lowest point, which is like from scratch lah. So, but you don't have much knowledge about fashion retail. So, it's where you actually get to learn. Retail associate. You buat sale, you buat customer service. But when you do this sale and you entertain your customers, you need to have the product knowledge. So that's why you reflect back to your fashion background. You belajar technical, you belajar finishing, jahitan, lining macam mana, because in Uniqlo they have like thousands of designs. So when the customer asks you, macam mana, kenapa dia punya leher macam ni, kenapa jahit macam ni, so you already have the preparation, you dah tahu dah apa yang nak jawab. So that's why but in fashion retail, it's more towards the customer service and also handling the sales floor. So then from the retail associate, I terus got promoted as the team leader and sales floor leader. So if you know Uniqlo, macam hello, welcome to Uniqlo, kalau you selalu dengar dulu kan, it's always been macam mana you because last time I managed to work directly under the Japanese manager. So dekat situ a bit culture shock sebab working with Japanese people kan, macam they are really high in discipline, they are really like jaga standards, work ethic semua. So dekat situ juga it really like how to say, it reflect to yourself balik tau sebab sometimes you tak biasa bekerja dengan orang-orang macam ni, and then when you dapat kerja dengan Jepun pula tiba-tiba, alamak, you have to jaga a lot of pantang larang in Uniqlo dulu. But at the end of the day, it's all for your own good that you can actually apply it in your daily life. Contohnya lipat baju, dulu I tak reti lipat baju. When I join Uniqlo, I lipat baju dalam 2 saat, 3 saat. So lepas ni like there's no issue for me to lipat baju. And then in fashion retail juga, sesiapa yang like have the interest to become the visual merchandiser, fashion retail is your platform dekat sini. Alright, so after 3 years work in Uniqlo, I rasa macam, okay, I think I should move on. I should move on to other things in fashion. So I decided to went back to design industry, which is I work in Kalakisha for 3 years juga. So 2016, 2018. So in Kalakisha, I was the fashion designer. I handle the production with the factories and suppliers. We also have the campaign marketing ideas. We share ideas with the creative team, like how do we shoot this, how to promote this, how we do the marketing, and also sales lah. Because raya, like everyone comes to the store, busy peak season semua kan. So you need to have that skill juga, skill in making sales. And then, so these are a few pictures of my creation last time. I was a bit terkejut juga when I joined Kalakisha sebab this is my first time joining modest wear, local modest wear field, Sebab last time when we used to look up to Alexander McQueen, Versace, Chanel semua kan. So tiba-tiba macam kat sini, oh, modest wear. But it's actually a good experience because little did I know, modest wear local here is actually I think the biggest kan Cesarin, the biggest how do you say welcome lah from the market, from our local market. Okay, so once already 3 years in Zalora, I decided to join where I am right now. After Kalakisha, I decided to join Zalora to grow up my knowledge, and my skill. So in Zalora, it's always been hectic. It's always been busy. Sebab kita, like Nia said just now, we produce a lot of design. We have hundreds of design, thousands of SKUs every year. We get to visit our factories in several places like China, Indonesia. We do sourcing, but behind those hectic days, we also have like social activities, fun social activities. Because Zalora, diorang jaga staff benefits. So as you can see dekat gambar kat situ, you can see Nina, me, and Cesarin. We actually buat it's for Halloween celebration. So we imitate like our local fashion icon. So it was fun working in Zalora, and I work as product developer. Okay, so what is product developer? I'll explain that later. Again, when I work in these three places, Uniqlo, Kalakisha, what are the similarities? Similarities like ready-to-wear, retail, mass product, e-commerce, and affordable prices. So these categories falls under one term, which is fast fashion. Okay, so fast fashion. I think some of you might have heard it. Some of you may not. So fast fashion in surface. What is fast fashion? Fast fashion. Kejap, am I going too fast?
It's okay. Just continue. The pace is just nice.
Okay, okay, okay. So what is fast fashion? As a surface, fast fashion is a design, manufacturing, and marketing method focused on rapidly producing high volumes of clothing, offer and provides inexpensive yet trendy and affordable price to the market. So as you can see, the keywords for fast fashion is rapidly means you have to be fast. It's always a fast progress. Um, like producing high volume. So these are considered as fast fashion. So other brands that you might know of fast fashion are like H&M, Zara, Uniqlo, even our in-house brands in Zalora, Zalia, and Lutna considered as fast fashion. Okay, so I'm going to start about what I do in Zalora as product developer kan. So what is product developer? So some people macam, apa product developer ni? Kenapa dia ada relate dengan fashion industry? So it does relate in the fashion industry. Cumanya it is like tak famous sangat lah, tak popular sangat. But then it is an important role for every for every fast fashion company. So if you can say Nike has product developer. My Xbox is working there right now. Nike Singapore, Adidas, Puma. So for apparel product developer or other names, they call it apparel technical designer or garment technologist. Okay, so here are some definition of product developer. Product developer responsible for developing, they develop and enhancing existing product. So in order to meet customer expectations effectively. All right. So develop design of a product based on the requested specification. So requested specification ni maksud dia is whenever the designer, because we work closely with designer and the buyers as well. So we work as a team. So when the designers send their design to the suppliers, so we need to make sure that the designs are well made. Diorang ikut the specs, because what we request is what we want. So if ada salah from the supplier, diorang salah buat sample ke apa semua, so it's your responsibility to fix it as product developer. And also for budget requirements. So sometimes you as product developer, you kena tahu technical yang, okay, for example, this technical close lining is too expensive for this design. So what can you suggest after that? Maybe you can do separate lining, maybe you don't do lining at all. So it depends on the budget. And then oversee the specs process and apparel development. It's always been about development of a product. Ensure quality of mass-produced fashion items. Okay, so other than that, we have again, product developer work closely with the whole design team, the designers, the buyers to strategize and execute plans within the agreed time frame. So working in a fast fashion, we always have deadlines. Memang setiap hari, setiap minggu, we always have to chase deadlines because we cannot act slow, we cannot like ketinggalan ke apa, because that is why they call it fast fashion lah. Last about product developer is just that we go through the design process, consistent communication open between designers, fashion merchandisers or buyers, and even the manufacturing factories. So it's always been a back and forth communication between us to make sure that the clothes are sellable, appealing, and cost efficient. So here are the differences. What is like design versus product development? So here, to summarize, what Nina did as designer, they are more towards design process, market research, trend report, sourcing, fabrication, semua. But while the product developer, what they do is they handle technical part, garment construction, sizing and fitting, the production with the suppliers, communication, and also the quality of the products. So if you can see, these are the differences, and I hope it's clear for everyone to see what does designer do, what does product developer buat. Okay. So another Okay, what are apparel product developer requirements? So requirements so actually is within you, as fashion student is already in you. Like it is best if you're fashion education background, if you understand pattern making, if you major in pattern making, this is your field, this is your platform, because you have to handle technical and garment construction, fabric knowledge and product knowledge, what are the fabric that is suitable to what fitted punya ni, and then it's your responsibility to share with the team. Kalau rasa fabric tu macam tak sesuai lah nak buat untuk fitted styles and design, so it's your part to slash it out. You say it's not sesuai, I think you can try other fabric. It's always been the open discussion. All right, understanding target market and research. Like I said, we are in modest category. So modest category market, they all macam mana kita banyak benda yang kita kena jaga. Contohnya kena tutup aurat, kena make sure that the length is a proper length in the design to cover your behind area. You have to do it research. And then detail oriented. Detail oriented meanings when you receive the sample from the supplier, you can fit, you can check the sample from top to the lowest point, from top to bottom of the styles. You have to be detailed. You have to, bila you pakai dekat patung, you terus nampak, oh, you dah salah dekat sini, salah dekat situ, salah dekat sini. So the values working in fast fashion is always been, you have to brush up your leadership skills, be a good team player, problem solving, always have initiative, always have suggestion, what can you tukar, apa yang you boleh fix, how do you fix issues, you have to be innovative and also creative thinking. Bilingual or multilingual, meaning if like because we work closely with foreign factories, in China, in Indonesia, so if you can speak Mandarin or Cantonese, that would be a plus point. And then fast and hustle, always fast and hustle. About in this industry, you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared to work fast. So let's jump to the workflow of Zalora, in Zalora. Okay, so workflow as product developer, like I said tadi, design. Okay, so designer akan send the design to the factories, and then the factory akan buat sample. Diorang yang akan buat sample, because we don't have time to make the samples sebab there's a lot of design kan, like hundreds semua. So once they already finish the samples, they akan send the prototype sample. So the first sample we call it as prototype sample. So this is where the product developer or PD take over. Okay, so prototype sample, and then if it rejects or it's approved, we'll see later. So if it rejects, you have to have the second proto, which we call it as pre-production sample. And then pre-production sample, we check again, okay ke tak, reject ke, approve ke, and then if approved, everything is fine, then they have to send another sample, they call it shipment sample. So shipment sample is a sample that is supposed to be the same as the actual stock, actual stock yang akan dijual kepada customer. So when this shipment sample comes, it's also the last stage for you to check whether is it okay to send out the bulk production to the warehouse. Kalau ada issue lagi, you have to contact them. Contoh butang tu macam, kenapa butang ni longgar, butang longgar, you have to feedback them, you have to ask them to improve the technical. So they will improve it before they will send out the bulk production. So in detail about product developer workflow, after we receive sample tadi, we will have an internal fitting session. Internal fitting session is between our team, our category manager, our designers, our buyers. We will have this session and like comment macam design ni mahal lah, can we slightly change the technical to a cheaper one, or you can change the fabric sebab tak sesuai, or like all those kind of comments and sharing session is under the internal fitting session. So once already comment, product developer, they need to input the comment in an Excel sheet also later. After that, we have to check the measurement, fitting, and the construction of the samples. Luar dalam, you have to check if the lining is okay, if the overlock is not tak tumpul, because sometimes you have this overlock yang berbulu, that one is unacceptable, because you want to sell good quality products to the customer, even in a very low price point target cost, yeah. And then external communication is between us and the suppliers. For example, if they have issue yang macam, oh, I don't understand what you say, or what is your comment. So this is where you have call with them, explain to them, guide them to create and to achieve your requested styles. So once again, after things are all done here, there comes the approval. Approval too is green light lah for them to proceed to the next styles or next process. So here I'm going to bring you into what I usually do in Zalora, which is the internal fitting and common fashion. So we have this custom size, our custom size mannequin that we ordered S size kan. So when the samples came, the sample will comes in S size. We will fit on the mannequin. You know, we will check if the length is okay, the sleeve length terlalu panjang ke, is it too tight. So this is where product developer do your job. You know, start your analyzing your findings, you know, on the sample. So once after finish, you can terus comment and information input. Okay, so this is where you put everything under one Excel sheet. So that's why you have to have this Excel. You juga lah skills. You know, like usually we take front, side, back view, and then close up picture. If any, like contoh collar you ada menggelembung ke apa, fitting not well. So you just have this close up picture, put it in the Excel sheet with your comments. Kat tepi tu, as you can see, sleeve length minus 2.5 cm, you know, top waist plus 2 cm. So these are the details and the comments that you need to put in and deliver to the suppliers. Okay, sometimes there are some styles and some design are too complicated because when the designer hantar tiba-tiba macam ni memang salah sangat ni, you know, when it's too wrong, what you need to do is you need to put an extra effort, you know, you just have to put some details comment, you have to draw, you know, as product developer juga, you also need to have this drawing skills, this technical drawing, you have to draw and indicate, contohnya fit cut, flare sleeve, button boleh buka and tutup, open sleeve, you know, much more detailed image for them to understand better. So like you also can draw kat sebelah tu and apa just put in all the details, requested details, and also the technical drawings. So right after that is garment quality and specs checking. So like I said just now, we handle measurements. What we do is we will check measurement. Okay tak? Betul tak apa yang measurement dorang buat? And then we request this measurement. Did they follow? So this is your job. This is your responsibility to check. You know, if ada salah ke apa semua, you need to feedback them in the same Excel sheet. Alright, so like this one. As you can see, measurements and size grading, you know, you need to have this record, you need to have this infos, and like the rate marks usually is for kita punya request ni lah. For example, you can see apa dekat total length 80 cm, the factory buat 80 cm, so you want it to be longer. So when you want it to be longer, you add 10 cm, then it becomes 90 cm. So these are the things that under product developer with all the sizes, gradings, you know, from XS, S, M, L, XL. So if things got worse, you got lah, because sometimes the suppliers they still lagi tak faham. So when they still tak faham, even like after two to three times try out, so we request them their digital pattern work. You know, digital pattern work because our suppliers, I think most of the fast fashion suppliers they will use digital pattern for their production. Okay, so from this we will actually ask them to show us how do you do the pattern. So when dekat sini tu yang cakap, you need to understand pattern making. Dekat sini kalau you nampak pattern tu salah, you just have to draw it. You have to reshape it or whatever. As a apa macam sketch on their digital pattern tu, then send back to them, then they will follow your guidance. So after all this process is done, after everything is approved, and then here comes the end product, which is after that we will go for campaign shoot. Campaign shoot here, this is for Zalia brand. I put it as an example. Dekat sini kita start off the campaign shoot. This was during pandemic, you know. We cannot like go out, you know, it's during the lockdown. So what we did was we sent this these samples to Bali because we're supposed to shoot in Bali, and this is handled by by them, by the Indonesian team. Like Nina did, she only gets to monitor virtually, because like the current condition pun macam affected everyone, right? So once after we shoot we had the campaign shoot, um, the last point will be, yep, it will be uploaded in Zalora website. So when the things that you work on finally uploads on the website, you feel relieved out. You can feel relieved and also, okay, it's settled, it's settled and it's on website and people buying. So when people buying lagi, you rasa macam happy because it's all your work and it's all your effort. Imagine with those hundred of designs of thousands of skills you work on for a year and the whole year, kan? So this is like for us lah. For us is a proud moment time, to be proud of lah. Okay, so there's a quote from me personally to everyone here. Like sometimes when you're in UiTM, you always have this, mesti macam, like most of you have this, oh, I want to become designer, I want to become designer. So for me, it's not wrong, it's tak salah, okay, because that one is your personal interest and what you plan to do it. But for me, if you want to try out something new, so you don't be afraid to branch out and try new things, because let them grow as your experience. You have to start somewhere and you never know where they might take you. So I think I talked long enough. I think it's time for Q&A, Cesarin.
All right, okay. The first question that we have is, how do you deal with color accuracy and consistency of the final product?
Sorry, come again?
Okay, again, how do you deal with color accuracy and consistency of the final product?
Okay, so color accuracy, when you have like fabrics from China, the ready fabric, sometimes their colors, what they send to us, it could be different than the new batch, because the colors always been like changes batch, right? They change batch, and then sometimes when you order this blue color, and then tiba-tiba the next sample is the same blue. It's supposed to be the same blue, tapi is in different shade. So what you need to do is you need to liaise with the factories. You need to liaise with the factories, the fabric factories, check with them what is the current, what is the latest batch and color that we're supposed to get. So it's always been like again, the back and forth from your point. Always call them, always check on the suppliers, and then once they already update on their side, we have to update on our side. And then again, if things still happening, dekat warehouse, we have QC. We have quality check. Kalau macam supplier still use the wrong color ke apa, we just request return everything. We don't want it because you made wrong.
I would like to add an anecdote. Remember, Nina, that we had that, what do you call that, pastel yellow incident?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Okay, what happened was the sample that we had was pastel yellow. It was very small sample. And what actually happened was it is neon yellow.
Neon green, like.
Neon green. It was so bright. And it was a huge surprise, but in the end, it sold very well, right?
Yeah, sometimes the things that we made a mistake, but sometimes it worked well. It's the one that sold out.
Yeah, it's a happy mistake in the end.
Unexpected.
Yeah, unexpected. But the colors that is always run wrong is like yellow and cool grey. Selalu ada macam cool grey kadang-kadang jadi biru. Macam tu. Yellow kadang-kadang jadi neon green. So that's the usual color. And then at one point we try to avoid from choosing those colors because we always have issues, kan?
Okay. All right. Again, another question for you, Nina.
Yes.
How do you explain fall-winter collection and sales in Malaysia or tropical country?
So we segregate 2 seasons because of the timeline. So we just call it like, okay, after starting from July, we call it autumn-winter. But it doesn't have to be an autumn-winter, literally a autumn-winter collection. It doesn't have to be fur or down jacket and whatnot, because that won't make sense, right? So yeah. We just call it autumn-winter as a timeline for us. So autumn-winter means July and onwards.
And then you do it in terms of color, correct?
Yeah, and for us, okay, Raya season is it falls in spring summer for now lah. For now, it falls in spring summer. So what we did was the whole more 80% of our collection for spring summer is Raya focus, and then there's like maybe 20% of for the season is casual for spring summer. But for autumn winter, we focus 80%, 90% on casual wear. So we don't do raya related styles for autumn winter, meaning after July onwards, we don't do raya styles. We only do casual styles. So like tops, more on tops, pants, jeans, and all that for casual wear and all, work wear, casual wear, and all that. And also we add a little bit of a traditional kurung sets, but for occasion like last time we had like bridesmaids and all that. So that's how we segregate it. So it's just like a something that we just call it so that we know the timeline. It's not literally autumn winter wear because we need to cater to our local market.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, next, as a question to Hadi. As an apparel product
Yes.
developer, how much is one's input into the aesthetic measure of the collection? Is the job scope kind of pure QC and technical aspect?
Oh, okay. So product developer, it's always been technical aspect, you know. Like I said just now, we need to like at least have a high understanding in pattern making, because what you do here is you need to handle and you need to responsible on the technical, the garment construction. So I would say mostly on the technical and construction, then comes the quality checking.
All right. Thank you both Nina and Hadi for your input from the Zalora group. Okay, finally, we have come to our final speaker, Ms. Zara. Okay, Zara from Petronas, can you give us your input in terms of e-commerce? Zara, you are muted. All
Hi,
right.
everyone. Okay, hold on. Let me just share my screen. All right. Hello, Zareen. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you for inviting us to be one of the speakers today. It was I'm very honored. So basically, I will be sharing my part of the journey from e-commerce industry. So about me and Hadi and Nina, our line is quite different because Hadi and Nina is very more on the designing and technical part, where me, personally, I am actually a buyer in Zalora. So I used to be a buyer in Zalora. Okay, let me start my e-commerce journey here. So I'm going to start with introduction, professional journey, why I chose this path, and life as a fashion buyer, and also life as a fashion merchandiser, and kenapa I choose e-commerce industry. So about me, I have been working after I finished UiTM, I have been working for 9 years. Started off from Zalora, Ilya, and then went to H&M, and now I'm currently in Petronas. So apparently I am very good in buying, and also I am skilled in client servicing, account management, communication, and strong analytical skills. So apparently I have very different skill than Hadi and Nina. So hence why I'm a buyer and not a designer. Even though I graduated from UiTM Shah Alam Fashion Department. All right, so my professional journey. So in 2006, after I finished, in 2006, so basically to baru Form 4, I started working as a part-time in Topshop. So that is when I started to love retail apparently. And then in 2011, during internship, 3 bulan, I kerja dekat Media Prima TV3, and it was my first job in the industrial company. And then moving on to 2012, after I finished my degree, I went to work as a retail associate. Kenapa I work as a retail associate? Because I wanted to study my master. But then I I wanted to study my master. Okay lah, hold on my kerja and then just kerja retail for a while, and then apparently it did not go as planned, so I did not pursue my master because I did not get my MARA. Hence why I stopped working in Ralph Lauren. But then in between 2006 and 2012, I worked part-time in Giorgio Armani, Salvatore Ferragamo, Calvin Klein, and Paul Smith. Kenapa banyak sangat? Because I worked during my what is it? Summer break. Yalah, summer break kan Sarin? Yeah, that is because I bukan jenis yang keluar jalan, but I am jenis yang cari duit for me to go shop. So that is my main goal lah during that summer break, because I need the money for my degree, for my diploma punya sustainable juga. And then moving on in 2013, after I dah tahu that I couldn't get my MARA, I couldn't go to my master, so I pursue in ILIA. So ILIA is actually 22 Bangsa, if you have heard of it. So 22 Bangsa is like it's like Isetan lah, basically. Sama je macam tu. So I worked there as a buyer and designer for 1 year, and then after that I moved on to Zalora. So apparently in Zalora, I minta kerja. I did not minta kerja as a buyer. I asked for production punya manager. So I thought that was the same thing. So apparently when the HR contacted me and say, oh, hey, your CV is very good for designer, for buyer. So let's interview you for a buyer punya role. So, and I got it. So I was the first UiTM fashion student to be absorbed in Zalora buying team. Yeah, not just, yeah, and I'm the third Malay in the buying team as well. So after 5 years in Zalora, from a buyer to senior buyer, I moved on to become a e-commerce merchandiser, and I moved to Bangkok. So in Bangkok, I actually got headhunted. I did not apply for the job, but because my CV was quite strong and everything went well, all the interview process went well, and I got headhunted and I got accepted there. So in Thailand, I was working for about 1 year plus, and then after that, I'm moving on to Petronas. So kenapa I masuk Petronas? Why Petronas? I'm sure you okay, why fashion? Why Petronas? So it's not just about fashion, it's about e-commerce industry. In Petronas, Petronas ada banyak. Bawah Petronas ada Petronas Dagangan, and Dagangan is like retail. So under Petronas Dagangan, diorang buat another venture, e-commerce. Not just e-commerce, but fashion e-commerce. But then I did not handle the fashion part, I handled the e-commerce part. So basically my background is actually professional in e-commerce industry. That's my job.
Excuse me, sorry, Zara, can you try to share your slides again?
Sorry, it went off, is it? Okay, let me just share screen. Oh, sorry, can you see? Oh yes, Yella, sorry so much.
All right, okay.
Yeah, let me just.
You were so very into it, yeah.
Yeah, my God, I did not realize it. Okay, so this is my journey life. You can see. So from 2006, 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, 19, and now 21. So apparently I have been working for the longest of time, but after degree, 9 years lah. Okay, this is a question I always ask myself. Do I want to be a fashion designer? Sebab apa? Honestly, I am not good in drawings. I'm not good in tailoring and pattern making and whatsoever. But then I know that in this fashion line, bukan ada designer sahaja. You are the merchandiser. You can become a buyer. You can become everything you want. But then, this is a question I asked myself during my degree and my diploma years. Apparently, masa I diploma, I did not finish my diploma because I am the selected students yang lompat to degree. You remember that the era, Zarin? Ada time yang student kena transfer degree. So, yeah. Apparently, masa diploma, I wanted to study my degree after I finished my diploma in UiTM Perak in UK as a fashion buying and merchandising lah. But then things happen and rezeki I sambung degree, lompat ke degree, so hence why I did not pursue my degree in the UK lah. But then I know from that start, I want to be something else. I did not want to be a fashion designer. So that's my pendirian lah. and I work hard towards it. That's why I work in retail. That's why sebab tu lah I macam my main goal is not to be a fashion designer. Kenapa? On what do I want to be? So this is my design. This is my final design actually. This one and this one. So I just letak dua sebab yang lain semua let me biarlah rahsia. Because this is the only two design that I am proud of. Okay, number one, I ask myself, designing and tailoring. I know that I am not good in designing nor tailoring, so hence I need to put that in main focus that I cannot be a fashion designer. Alright. Number two, retail management. I know I have been working in retail and I have loved retail ever since. Hence why retail management is my core lah. And then I need to know my strength. So after years of working in retail, after years of working in retail and then tak tahu I tak boleh design whatsoever. So I know what I need to do. So I cannot do fashion design. So this is my life as a fashion buyer. So let me just start as of now. So what is fashion buyer? A buyer is responsible for planning, selecting and purchasing quantities of goods and merchandise that are sold. They are sourced new and review existing goods to ensure the products remain competitive. So not just towards your brand but towards other brands as well. Okay. To be a fashion buyer, you need to you are the main person to many stakeholders. For me, I am the main person for my superior. I am the main person to the team. I am the main person to the clients, designers, brands, my colleagues from other departments like marketing, finance, production. It's like you are satu orang tapi you kena liaise dengan 100 orang macam tu. It's really adalah anxiety tu sikit-sikit kadang-kadang, but then that is only towards the fashion show punya season lah. Before that, after that semua dah tak ada. So this is my team previously. Hi Zarin. Can you see that? That's you. Alright.
Throwback, yeah?
Yeah, it's just throwback because I can only throw back. So yeah, so let me just go through my workload. So apparently I bukan kerja macam Nina and Hadi or Hadi. Sebab apa? I bukan create a brand. Okay, I work with brands and designers. So I pernah liaise with 30 brands / designers at once, and that is quite overwhelming. Not just I tak handle RPL, I handle consignment and also outright. Okay, so that is quite overwhelming, but then I get through it. So let me just for the buying process, let me just walk you through. Kalau you nampak kat atas tu, process will take 1 year before to plan the next year's new collection. Why? Okay, let me just walk through. So in May, research on new brands. So basically, I kena research lah brand apa. Ni for raya purpose, okay? For outright. So I need to research on what brand I kena buat. I kena cari what designers I kena cari. Different types of designers lah. And then I kena minta approval dengan my boss. So apparently Shasha is my boss, so I kena minta approval and dia. I kena tanya all the team macam, hey, is this relevant to this current season? Is this relevant to this year? Is this designer still relevant? Dia ni boleh buat kerja tak? Kita orang tak filter on how the brand is. Kita filter everything. Kita filter perangai designer, kita filter collection dia, kita filter dia boleh buat kerja ke tak, dia boleh hantar ikut deadline ke tak. That is what we are focusing on, and that's why we need to filter all those things. So in June and July, that is my first meeting with the designers. So my first meeting, I kena pitch dia orang cakap, hey, probably I jumpa Nurita Harith. Hey Nurita, would you like to collaborate with Zalora for this much? This is not consignment, this is outright, and we will invest money on you, on your brands. So that is my pitch to them. If diorang nak, diorang approve. If diorang tak nak, diorang tak approve lah. Tapi there are cases yang macam brands yang takut nak invest dengan Zalora. Bukan diorang buat apa pun, diorang buat baju je, diorang buat barang je, diorang buat design je. Zalora je bagi duit. Tapi ada yang tak nak sebab apa? Diorang punya mentality time tu pada diorang, they can sell on their own. It's not about selling on their own, it's about branding your brand outside other than your platform. Kalau you letak kat Zalora, your brands, your baju will most likely be beside Nike. Macam kalau you nampak tu kan, will be most probably beside Nike or beside H&M or beside other brands, Rizalman. And secara tak langsung, orang kenal your brands rather than orang kena pergi your Instagram or pergi your kedai or pergi buka your website. So this is free marketing. It's not just marketing dekat dalam Instagram, it's free marketing dekat website kita. So yeah, that is the first meeting. And then in September, after diorang dah approve, kita buat sample presentation. For sample presentation, this is the first sample presentation, so we need to approve. So prior to that sample presentation, I kena follow up dengan designer macam what design, I kena pilih tau. It's not just about sample presentation, I kena pilih, I kena macam pecah otak within the first presentation tu, I kena pilih, I kena fikir apa yang kena buat, I kena tanya my team, is this okay, can this sell, if this cannot sell, and the brands macam, okay, ada macam satu situation ni lah. Pada I, baju tu tak boleh jual. Tapi pada Rizalman, baju tu boleh jual. End up, baju tu tak boleh jual. So we need to dengar our instinct juga lah. And other cases yang pada designer, maybe dia buat cacang merba je, tapi we chose that and diorang pelik kenapa. And end up, baju tu terjual. Yeah, you need to have your gut instinct lah. Benda tu kena buat. It's not just about designing, it's about you need to know the market lah. Okay, number 2, in October, sample presentation number 2. So kalau ada designers yang kena redo sample, diorang kena redo sample. So that is between October and November actually. And then in January and March, this is the crucial part sebab stocks delivery. And this is where sebenarnya designer memang tak follow timeline. It's really kadang-kadang ada lah anxiety tu because like it's really hard to push them, cakap hey, you need to deliver stocks in January, March, February, March. Tapi diorang, I tak boleh lah, I tak hantar lagi lah dekat manufacturer. Oh, manufacturer tak hantar kat I lagi lah. So there are a lot of things in between, but then took a lot of our energy, not just me and my team as well. So benda ni kalau tak sampai on time, everything will be delayed. Your live date will be delayed. Sebab apa? We plan backwards. We don't plan, okay, asal jalan ni tak. Kita plan, okay, bila nak live, bila fashion show, bila kena hantar. Kalau you tak follow timeline tu, oi, we're screwed up. Screwed up sebab apa? Because it's your brand and it's our money. Tu je. Kalau, and we have target. Kalau kita invest banyak ni, we need to at least 70% of the products terjual. Sebab kalau tak terjual, meaning next year we won't invest anymore. If terjual by 70% by end of raya, alhamdulillah lah, we will insyaAllah continue with your brand as well. So in February until April, that is when the product live, as what Hadi said just now, yang product catalog live tu, itulah masa you dah lega. Sebab apa? Stok dah sampai. Sebab selagi stok tak sampai, produk tak akan live. Because we jarang buat pre-order, and because pre-order is very risky, we don't think like the brands, local brands thinking. We don't take pre-orders because for us it's very takut lah kalau baju tak cantik ke, kalau dah ambil duit orang ni, tapi kalau 20% teruk macam mana? We cannot deliver the rest. So yeah, we need to sampai stocks and then make the product live. And then in April, that is when our Zalo Raya, ini masa yang paling lega. Sebab apa? Semua dah settle. Nina, Hadi, Zarin, I'm sure you pun perasa benda ni, itu perasaan macam okay, anxiety dah habis, I'm gonna let go now. Itulah tanggungjawab you, macam you dah lepaskan anak you kat sekolah. So
but it's like only for a few days, I think.
Yeah, betul. That's why you nampak ni kan Zalora Fashion Show. Back to May, I kena research on new brand balik. It's like a cycle. It's really a cycle, and fashion, if you all know, is a cycle as well. So this is my whole buying process. I'm going to walk you through other things. So the designers and brands I work with is Rizalman, Norita, Yadotsa, Putri, Kwi, Shomer Izwa, Justin Yap, Ilham Ishinta, Minas, Kaminada. So I actually collaborate dengan brands in Indonesia as well, and also in UK. In UK tak ada fashion show, but then I pitch them. So basically like I have this, boss I bagi my tanggungjawab to Mila macam, Zara, I need you to pitch this UK brand because apa? Our competitor ada another UK brand. I don't want to say it, but then dia ada another UK brand. So we need to step up our game. So macam time tu we don't have any brand acquisition team, and I am the one doing everything. I kena cari brand, I kena call macam hello whatever semua, I kena cari email orang, kena email. So I need to do everything and end up I dapat this brand AAB from UK. Apparently it is the biggest one of the biggest modest brand lah dekat UK. And also in all these Indonesia brands pun I kena pergi sana. But in UK I tak payah pergi UK sebab that's not collaboration. But kami idea, Kanan, Miranda, I need to go to Indonesia for fashion presentation. So me and my superior kena pergi sana, kena tengok lah the same process macam orang lain. Macam is during that September period, I kena pergi juga Indonesia. Time tu sakit gigi ke, tak sakit gigi ke, sakit kepala ke, tak sakit kepala, you kena pergi juga. Because that's your job. So this is just images from my past. Most of them is not just acquaintance, they became my friends. Like Norita, like Justin Yap, like Ilya and kami idea punya orang, Cho from Putri, Yadot Sa, everyone became my friends. So yeah, that is the network yang valuable lah dekat Zalora apparently. So this is the collection yang I work with Norita. And yang I pilih. I tak design, diorang design tapi I yang pilih. So this is Norita Harith, this is Rizalman for Zalora 2019, Yadot Sa for Zalora 2018, Yadot Sa for Zalora 2019, Kami Idia, Hanan. So Hanan is like a batik brand, it's really really nice but it's quite expensive. Hence why kita only buat one collection with her. Ilham Icinta, the turban, Kree for Zalora, Minas for Zalora. So this most of the brands that are not just the designers. I work with Peace Collection. I work with First Lady. You tahu First Lady kan, baju-baju mak-mak dulu kan. First Lady, I work with Jean Martino. Banyak lah lagi. Just normal brands pun I do work with as a consignment basis. Not outright macam ni lah. The fun part working with Zalora as a fashion buyer is that you get to see all this. You get to see sampling, you get to see masa presentation, masa photo shoot and all this, meeting the designers lah. You get to see the newest collection before anywhere else. You get to pick and choose the things that you want. So apparently dalam ni semua adalah yang I pilih yang okay untuk masuk Zalora. And you get to meet and work dengan well-known designers. So yeah. But then the messy part is ini yang orang macam tak perasan. Sebab apa? Orang nampak fashion shows je. Fashion shows, pilih-pilih, cantik-cantik, itu je orang nampak. But then is the ugly parts in between that makes it beautiful. Tengoklah ni. This is what we have to go through. Berkotak sebab apa? Sebab warehouse salah tagging, and bila dah salah tagging, I need to step up my game lah. Kena pergi warehouse, check semua, is it okay, is it tak okay. And ni warehouse dekat my previous company in H&M Thailand is very very huge because it's not just e-commerce. We do omni-channel. And yeah, you need to do like you kena tahu Excel, you kena tahu PowerPoint, you kena tahu semua benda. It's not just about designing, you kena tahu numbers. At least belajar basic Excel pun tak apa. Sebab apa? Sometimes bila you interview, you will get these questions, you will get this presentation macam before interview you kena buat Excel, before interview you kena buat PowerPoint, you kena present macam whatever lah you kena present kan. So yeah, so that's the crucial and messy part lah. So moving on, for me life as a merchandiser. So merchandiser, I work in H&M Thailand, so I am an e-commerce merchandiser. So merchandising is part of buying and selling process. It is planning, development and presentation of product lines for identified target markets. Merchandising is the planning, buying and selling of a merchandise. It is integral part of retailing. It's not buying, it's like after that. Okay, let me just walk through later. Planning involved in marketing right merchandise at right place, at right time, in the right quantities, at the right price. So apparently semua benda lah kita kena fikir sebab apa? It's all about data and numbers. For you to become a merchandiser, you need to be a number centric. You need to apparently macam data analysis lah. You buat macam cari data is this okay? Macam kalau contohnya macam mana? Okay, kalau satu baju ni dia dah terletak lama tapi dia tak terjual, you patut buat apa? You need to see baju tu dah lama ke kat onsite. After 3 months dia tak terjual, what do you need to do? You need to reprice it. After reprice, you kena buat apa? You kena, after reprice for a while, you kena mark down. And then after the first markdown pun tak jalan, you kena second markdown. So that is what a merchandiser do, because it's very number centric lah. And let me just walk through. This is, I've worked with Giambattista Bali for H&M. So, yep, this is the collection. Merchandiser criteria. So, to become a merchandiser, you kena ada analytical skill. Analytical competence are essential qualities and must be number driven. Not just fashion driven, very number analytical lah. Number 2, you need to be very verbal, excellent communication and ability to negotiate. Sebab apa? You kena negotiate harga. Kalau you nak buat markdown, kenapa you nak buat markdown? You kena minta approval bos you. Why I kena buat markdown? Is it possible to buat markdown? Macam tu lah. And then you kena ada intuitive, decide the most effective ways to sell and promote the products. Okay, macam buyer, dia belakang tabir. Merchandiser, bila barang dah kat depan tu, that is merchandiser. And then you need to be creative as well, desire to be creative and innovative thinker. So kalau you ada all these qualities and you nak jadi merchandiser, just go ahead, okay? Expanding my networking abroad. So this is me working with H&M Thailand. So this is our kickoff spring summer 2020. And this is my whole, not whole lah, this is my office commercial team. And that is me, the only lady in hijab. So yeah, the small one yang bawah ni, mana ni? So that's me. And this is my director, and where's my boss, my Chinese boss, Manenta. So this is the team I work with. And then this is my small team, and this is my boss. So this is during Christmas and we exchange gift. So the perks of working in H&M Thailand is that I get to work abroad. Working abroad apparently is very scary. Mula-mula lah, tapi it's very exciting. But then after you dah duduk sana, it's not really scary at all. Sebab apa? To be honest, Bangkok is very safe. Macam orang fikir Bangkok ni takut lah, ada bom tiba-tiba lah benda kan. Tapi if you jalan sorang-sorang, you feel safer in Bangkok. Hadi gelak sebab dia tahu. You feel safer in Bangkok rather than in Malaysia kalau you jalan sorang-sorang. Sebab apa? Sebab Malaysia, orang pakai tudung dengan orang tak pakai tudung kan. Tapi in Bangkok, semua orang tak pakai tudung. Semua orang pakai mini skirt. So bila you pakai mini skirt pun orang tak pandang. So bila I jalan pakai tudung sorang-sorang pun orang tak pandang. Sebab apa? Kat sana pun ada Muslim. And they don't underestimate lah Muslim. Macam tu lah. So, yep, it's very nice. So kenapa? Okay, why I choose e-commerce industry? Sebab apa? I've landed in Ilya, my first job after, my second job after degree kan. So Ilya is an omni-channel. So dia ada online, dia ada offline. So bila ada online, I prefer macam benda tu best lah. It's something new. It's not really like truly offline. But then after move on to Zalora, I perasan that I love e-commerce. Kenapa I love e-commerce? Sebab apa? E-commerce is big and growing. E-commerce is imparts managerial skills. Sebab apa? E-commerce ni baru. Masa kita baru masuk Zalora is very new in Malaysia as well. So masa tu e-commerce baru 2 years. Sebab Zalora pun baru 2 tahun terbina time tu. So banyak benda kita kena buat sendiri and learn from data and feedback in real time. So differences in offline and online is that online is very data driven. And I am at the forefront of technological innovation. So macam dulu kan, okay lah macam Nizarin Hadi, dulu kan tak ada buy now pay later. So sekarang ada buy now pay later. So dulu tak ada benda lain, sekarang ada benda tu. So that is at the forefront of technological innovation. So banyak lagi lah kita boleh buat for e-commerce. So job wise, kenapa e-commerce industry is that it is very high demand. You literally can work anywhere in the world if there's opportunity. Sebab memang ada opportunity. You nak pergi UK, nak pergi US, nak pergi Scotland, nak pergi Norway, semua boleh. And once you go online, it's really hard to turn back. Sebab apa? That's e-commerce ni. Skill sets needs expected salary. So, kiranya kalau you ada skill set tu, you nak demand gaji pun boleh. Senang. Kalau dalam Malaysia ni a bit susah maybe, tapi kalau kat luar negara it's very easy sebab they value e-commerce background people. Always a learning curve, and 21st century is an online game. Okay, you need to be proud of who you are. This is my past, present, and future of networking. You need to be active on LinkedIn. That's where you'll get recognized. Okay, this is a quote. Successful people are not gifted. They just work hard, then succeed on purpose. For me, I am not gifted, but I work hard. I'm not gifted like Nina, Hadi, or whatever. I just work hard to be where I am now, and that is purely hard work. And okay, in 2021, I have 13 companies headhunted me. So, in August sahaja dah 13 orang 13 company headhunted me. So, that's what I mean as you need to be recognized. You kena ada strong background. For me, Alhamdulillah, I have strong background, I have strong CVs, and people are looking for me. I tak cari dorang, but they are looking for me. So, be entrepreneur. Just be there and be open for chances. Alright? Thank you very much. That's all for me.
Okay, Zara. Okay, first question here. Having to work with international companies across the world with different time zone, what is your advice in terms of time management and productivity on your side?
Different time zone, there's no different time zone sebab I am working there. I memang, okay, dia bukan work from home. Dia bukan I kerja kat Bangkok tapi bukan I dapat kerja kat Bangkok, I kerja kat Malaysia, bukan. I pergi Bangkok untuk bekerja. That is me. And apparently I pindah sana for a year plus. So yeah. Tapi the best part is you get to learn few things lah. You dapat cakap bahasa diorang. You get to meet people from different backgrounds, from different countries. So my good colleague is from India. So yeah. Tapi if you want to be there, just jalan je. You jangan takut nak apply kerja. Kalau for me, maybe I'm headhunted from that company itself. But if you want to go there, jalan je. Just macam tutup mata lah, I boleh buat ni. Macam tu.
Okay, I can see that Nur Shafika has raised her hand. Nur Shafika, do you have any questions? Alright, maybe she's not on the line. Okay, Zara, another question. In terms of, during the pandemic, how do you shift in terms of your working hours? In terms of, do you still work there or?
Okay. Alright, I understand your question. Okay, it's like this. When I started working in H&M Thailand in 2019, my goal is actually to work for at least 2 years, at least, okay? If I can do more, Alhamdulillah. But then, COVID happened pula in 2020. I was back in February 2020, balik Malaysia. Suddenly in March kena lockdown. So I tak boleh balik lah. And FYI, I balik tiap-tiap bulan. Not just tiap-tiap bulan, kadang every other bi-weekly pun I balik Malaysia sebab the price is quite cheap lah. Because I was earning in Bangkok in baht. I'm not earning in ringgit or in dollar. So for me, that's quite cheap. So, but then when the pandemic happened, I couldn't balik for 6 to 7 months. And then that was the time I macam, okay lah, mula-mula I feel very okay. Okay, maybe this is the challenges. But then bila raya, I tak boleh balik. Okay, I sedih. Bila birthday, I tak boleh balik lah. My family is here. And then at least I get to celebrate with my friends dekat sana. Walaupun I tak seorang, tapi I still need my family. And then Raya Haji pula, that was my turning point lah. Macam, I tak boleh balik. I nak balik Malaysia. I want to be with my family. I couldn't go back, and if I go back, I need to quarantine. I need to even the flights is expensive. Okay, dulu kalau flight balik Malaysia one way at least RM200. Kalau 2 ways RM400 kan. Tapi one way sahaja RM2,000 plus. Yup. Not just that, I kena fikir quarantine kat Malaysia. Quarantine kat Malaysia 2008 at least. So kat situ dah 3,000 lebih. Kalau I nak balik Bangkok balik, if I were to not berhenti my kerja, I need to balik my Bangkok. Quarantine kat sana is super expensive. If you rasa quarantine kat hotel Malaysia mahal, you haven't been living abroad. Okay, kat sana minimum quarantine in ringgit is RM5,500. Yeah. In total, yeah. Kalau I nak balik Malaysia, I nak quarantine kat sana balik, dekat Bangkok balik, I will take at least RM10,000 habis. Macam tu je habis. Macam buat apa? I dah lah habis cuti 2 minggu, sebulan I cuti untuk quarantine saja. Maybe I jumpa family I 3-4 hari je. Tak best lah macam tu. So since I'm a merchandiser and I can forecasting, maybe I macam I boleh faham lah situation ni. I forecasting and okay, this pandemic will prolong. And if it's prolonged, I need to take action. So my action was I negotiate with my boss. I cakap can I work from home for a while, and then I resign from my Malaysia. So he said okay, we understand the situation. So I resign lah. I balik Malaysia, and then after few months I resign, and then I pakai lah laptop rumah semua buat kerja. And that is where I try to work remotely from home. So macam Bangkok Malaysia was an hour early, tak silap I. Bangkok was an hour later. So I started an hour earlier. Okay. But that is really hard sebab apa? Every time diorang dah ping I masa pukul 6, diorang dah pukul 7 I malas nak kerja pukul 7. I nak masak lah, nak apa semua kan. So macam that is the communication barrier lah. Just that. Tapi Alhamdulillah my superior understood my situation and it's okay, and after that I resigned. And then not long after, probably long after that lah, Alhamdulillah I got accepted into Petronas. So and now I am happily working with Petronas.
All right. Okay. Thank you everyone for the great sharing session. I believe we have reached our time. Okay. Again, thank you for giving us your input for all the different aspects of e-commerce. All right. I hope if we have the opportunity again, you would be able to again share your input with future generations, because I feel this is a very good sharing session to have for all the new generations of fashion designers or fashion students. Instead of just focusing on design, they could think about the different aspects such as product developer, buyer, merchandiser, and so on. All right. Again, from me, from the Faculty of Art and Design and Fashion Department, I would like to say thank you everyone for joining this session and have a great day. Right. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Before we end this session, can we have everyone to turn on their camera so we can have a screenshot? Well, everyone left already. No worries. I'm just going to screenshot this session.
You just asked.
Okay, let's
Is there any lecturers here? I would like to say hi, lecturer.
I just want to see my
We have a few here. There's Miss Aisha, there's Mr.
Hey,
Hisham,
Wazir.
Wazir, Miss Muja, Izora.
Miss P mana?
Dia ke Miss P?
Miss P, everyone's looking for you.
Masuk lagi.
Dr. Rohana is here.
Hi, doctor.
Hi, doctor.
Hi.
Even
Hi,
we
Cik
have
Wazir.
Atu,
Cik
she's
Wazir
new
pun
here.
ada. Cik Wazir ingat saya tak? Mesti tak ingat kan? Dulu tak pakai tudung, sekarang pakai tudung.
Okey, terima kasih all the panel ya. Wah, Hadi kau dah dewasa ya.
Oh, dah dewasa dah. Dah
Apa ni?
Okay, I'm gonna screenshot now. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you.
Hi, bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.